Hey everyone, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm excited to have Michelle on the show today. Michelle, I want to talk about what's top of mind for so many consumers and buyers out there that are really unsure in the market, would love to buy a home, have the dream of home ownership, but now we keep hearing on the news the talk about rates and how do we combat those. And I know the other day we were talking and you had some great ideas, and I thought today would be a wonderful opportunity to share that with the audience. So, how are consumers combating these high interest rates?
Well, Barbara, thank you. Thank you. That is a topic that is absolutely on the top of the list for most buyers nowadays.
It is, yeah.
It's all about the monthly payment. So when you have a higher monthly payment, then your purchasing power typically goes down.
Right.
But a lot of them, when they qualify, they have a comfort zone and then they have what they qualify for, and they're not always the same. Saying that, two ways to combat that. You can do a permanent buy down of the interest rate, and they don't have to pay for it. Now sellers are giving concessions to be able to use their money, the seller's money, to buy down their interest rate to make their home more affordable. One of the favorite things, though, is the 3-1 or the 2-1 buy down.
Oh, wow.
Now,
Okay.
what that means is if interest rates are, say, 5.875, so if you do a 3-1 buy down, you would start the first year at 3.875. The next year would be 4.875. And then the third year would be 5.875 for the rest of the loan if it's a 30-year fixed.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Okay.
So on this, what happens is that seller actually contributes all the money to be able to do this. And it's really helping the real estate market as well, because instead of decreasing the purchase price 100,000 or 200,000, they're offering quite a bit of substantial subsidy to the borrowers to buy down their interest rate permanently or temporary.
That's awesome.
Now, one other thing is if they do a 3-1 buy down, and after 1 year, interest rates do go down enough for them to refinance into permanent financing at a much lower rate, they don't lose that money.
Got
So
it.
the rest of the money that the seller contributed for that 3-1 buy down goes to paying off, goes to the principal of that particular loan when they go to refinance it. And then
That's
when they
great.
refi, we can do a free refi as well.
That's great. So, kind of in summary, too, what's really important to know is we don't have a crystal ball what the real estate market's going to do. And we do our very best to, as real estate agents and lenders, help consumers and buyers plan. And so to me, it sounds like an amazing scenario. You get to buy the house that you love, right? You get to lower your rate now while rates are particularly high, and also then if it you get to refinance later at no cost to you, but now you have the house that you love. And what's wonderful is we don't know what rates will be, so if they're higher, now we're locked in at a lower rate. And if the rates happen to go down, now you have the opportunity to refinance. To me, it sounds like a win-win. What do you think?
That is correct. I think one of the biggest things, it's all about the monthly payment. So if we can get them in, especially first-time home buyers that need the tax benefit, the property tax write-off, that type of thing, get a lower payment. On an $800,000 loan, it's almost $1,000 difference a month for the first year, $500 the second year.
Right.
So that's a big difference in a lot of people's budgets. And inflation, once we get it under control, it really should bring down the rates and stabilize a little bit.
Totally will. And if you look at the trajectory of home ownership is not a short-term investment. It's a long-term investment. And if you look at historically where we were 5 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, why would you not want to invest in your own future, your own savings account? Because that's essentially what one of the many benefits that home ownership does afford you. Why would you give that money away paying rent if you could afford and buy a home, which is
Correct.
the American dream?
Right. And we're seeing a lot of people, because they're having such an increase in their monthly rent, the payment on a home is the same or lower. And after the tax benefit, it can work out to be equal, and then they have the upside of appreciation and never having to move again.
Exactly. And again, that just kind of summarizes the idea of home ownership is in the dream of it is definitely still there. And there are, I mean, we could dive in. There are so many more benefits
For sure.
to purchasing versus renting. But for more information, or if you'd like to talk more about it with us, please reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. And thank you so much for coming on the show today, Michelle. You've been amazing.
Thanks, Barbara.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.